Alrighty. It is Sunday. It is art day. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. We are gonna be... Why?
Oh, he didn't do anything.
At all?
Pretty sure he wanted time, in the sun.
There's no sun today, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, there was earlier, but...
All gone now.
It's drizzly and overcasty and all of it. And muggy as all get out. Okay. So, we are picking back up with our Bob Ross needle felting project. We are on episode 12 of 13 of season 3 from The Joy of Painting that we are following along with needle felting. When we finish this season, we'll be moving on to different needle felting projects. We're going to have to get started on the husband's Christmas present at some point. It depends on when we're done this one and if I think I can get the last one done before we have to start working on Christmas gifts. We'll see, because we also have a 2.5 week period where we're going to be away. So, we'll see how that goes. So for anyone that is new and wants to follow the tutorial for whatever you are going to be doing with it, link is now in the chat. We're going to go ahead and pin that. So if anybody wants to go watch it in full without interruptions and without it being muted, by all means, go right ahead. When we last left off, Monday, which feels like a lifetime ago, we had just finished up putting in our trees. Do you know what she wants for dinner before she lays down?
Oh, I assume... Well, I'll go check.
So, we have one last bit of tree line to get in. If you see any weird, smoke-like things fly into the screen, I have an incense going. I try not to do the Bernie incense when I've got fiber out. It's on the other side of the desk. So hopefully we'll be okay. But, I really wanted some incense today. It wasn't the wax melty kind, so. Alright. So I did put a little bit of masking tape on opposite sides of our piece because I have such a hard time keeping the edges straight. I'm not banking on it keeping me from bowing out as much, but it's sort of an experiment to see how we do with that. We have spent a lot of time sideways on this one, and if that bothers you, I do apologize, but it's actually been easier for me to see where I'm at and what I've got going on here in an attempt to keep things a little bit straighter. Has it helped a whole lot? I don't know, maybe. This piece is kind of an experiment the whole way around because I also am using a thicker piece of craft felt this time than we usually use. I did not know they carried the thicker felt in the crafty section at the store. I thought they just had the thinner standard felt or like the super thin stiff felt. So this is kind of an experiment in that regard to see how this is gonna go. So I'm just kind of filling in here. Our bottom edge of where our green is going to sit. So we're going to have our trees coming up out of this greenery area. And I might make this section a little bit more close together, just since it's the front row basically, so we can keep that a little bit tighter. Alright. So don't forget you want to pull up on the your project off of your mat if you are working with a fabric mat a little more often. I don't know if you really have to do it with a foam mat. With fabric mat, yeah, I would definitely, just so you don't become too attached, because you're gonna have a heck of a time releasing it from the mat if you're not pulling up every little bit. Trust me, I know. How do you know this? Because when we first started out, we didn't know we had to pull up the piece every so often, and it became quite attached to our wool felting mat, and we had quite a time getting it off of that mat, to the point where I didn't think it was gonna come off. So I was like, oh no. But we did succeed in releasing it eventually. Took a little bit of slow, gentle effort. I'll tell you, it's hard to gently work things up off of these mats sometimes. They can really get stuck in. So we're gonna see how this guy pans out. And we'll see. Am I gonna do the entire strip of green before we start adding in our trees here? I don't know yet. Got a little bit of a seam right in here, so I would just I'm gonna take the time to make sure we are well covered here, because this section is our front row. Just want to make sure that we're looking pretty good in here. As good as we can be, at least. So this is just a little bit of water. Sometimes it helps me get a little bit more friction on my hands. Alrighty. Alrighty. So I'm thinking we'll do a little bit more. Like straight across. And then we'll do some tree action here. I don't always have to have the water on my hands. Kind of depends on how slippery the fibers being. If it's cooperating, then we're good. But sometimes it helps tame the little flyaway guys and the little extra fuzzies. Kind of gives you a slightly tighter fluffy snake. Now I'm not saying to drench the fuzz, just like a drop that your finger picks up of your water onto your palm, like that's more than enough. Don't saturate it, because then you're starting to get into wet felting, and that's a whole nother ball of wax there. And I don't do wet felting, so we're doing dry felting. Alrighty. So I've got a couple of spots that we missed with this piece, and that's okay. Not a huge deal. We can just grab some more fluff and fill it in. So this line of trees is that very front line that Bob started to put in. Let me grab my copy of the video. So these trees look a little more, well, not that much more defined, but he does have them as green now because they're closer, I believe, is what that reasoning for it was, because the further ones away were supposed to be a little bit more purpley and kind of like shadowy, and their distance and the way the sky was that day just kind of turned them that shade, I suppose. I would have loved to have seen, or I would love to see, what he used as his original reference images to do all of these. And that's probably something we'll never know. So a lot of times I think he used books or different photographs and stuff, and or some of it could be from memory. Like, I don't know how much of this he was just making up as he was going along. or if he was actually using reference images. I don't know. But I would have loved it if we could have seen like his original reference image while he was working, just to see what he changed, what colors he decided to adjust and do differently, or how he saw it. I would have loved to have seen that. Alright, so he has his trees a little more... Oh no, I guess they're similar to the ones in the background. Now these guys don't need to be as big, I forgot. Don't necessarily need them that big. They don't need to be all that tall. Okay, so I'm gonna start down here, just kind of working in the top of our tree. And I'm probably gonna do top first on this set, just so that I don't get too carried away with the height and stuff. That's why I put reference lines in, to try to keep me from getting a little carried away, as I have a tendency to do. Now I'm not gonna worry real hard about the very edge here, because we're gonna try to clean that up along the tape line with our scissor friends. Alright, pop that guy up. Well, that's not quite... I don't know. Let's see if this is enough. It might not be. I got a drop of water. I kind of missed my hand there. Okay. So let's see. I'll put you about there. And it's perfectly fine for these very front trees to overlap each other. They don't necessarily have to, but they can. They can be crowded in there. Bob's got a little bit of space in between the sides of them, but you go ahead and do your trees how you see fit. I know some of you are thinking, well, what was the point of doing the grass strip across the bottom if you're just coming in and covering it up with these trees? We're not covering it up entirely. There would still be some little gappy guys in there that the gray would have been poking through if we hadn't taken the time to do that bit of strip in there. Okay, now that tree's definitely got some of the purple seeping through. If that's fine with you, then you can leave it. I'm gonna cover it just a little bit. Because I personally want these to be a little bit more filled out. Okay. Get another drop of water in there. That was not sufficient. Okay. And they don't all have to be the exact same height. So do keep that in mind. You are perfectly able to vary the height on these. Because, you know, not every tree is going to be the same height. Maybe these shorter ones are younger trees. Maybe they just got a little too crowded. Who knows? Nobody but the tree knows. Alright. Grab a bit more fluff here. So we're using an olive color. And this is from the Big Twist value line from Joann's. Not sponsored, just letting you know what the color is and where it came from, in case you like it. Let's see. Let's make him about that tall. That's a lot of fiber layers in there. Plus our thick base felt here. Okay. Now I got those guys a little bit spaced out. I think I want to put another guy in here. Like, for me, that's a little too much space in between those two, and that's fine if you want to add another tree. You're more than allowed to do so. it's your piece. If you want another tree tucked into there, by all means, tuck another tree. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. We're just kind of trying to follow along with Bob the best that we can, considering we are using a different medium altogether. So we can only follow along so well. Actually, do I want that a little bit thicker? Let me get a look at this guy. I think I kind of want those a little bit closer. So that is an easy thing to remedy. Just have to figure out our height here. So we might end up taking out some of the trees that we've already put in by accident. Wow, the needle does not want to go in that section. So if you start getting loud vehicle, if you start getting a loud vehicle, I can't help you. If you start hearing a loud vehicle, you might be watching the stream. So if you start getting a lot of resistance to your needle wanting to go through a certain area, it probably means it's just a little too compacted, and maybe move slightly over just a little bit, and definitely slow down. Trying to go faster through an area that's a little more hesitant to the needle going through there is probably not going to help you, and you'll probably just end up with a snapped needle, and nobody wants a snapped needle. Snapped needles aren't fun. For sure. Little bits of my coconut turtle that were sitting on top of this got stuck to the felt. Poor coconut turtle. I have to replace his eye, as one eye fell off. I have wiggle eyes. I just haven't gotten around to replacing it yet. That looks a little bit better there, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna add another I'll just add another skinny guy in here. Alright, so I'm just kind of folding up that bit of tail there that was a little excessive. We will try to get some video editing done this week, I promise. This weekend was just busy. I could have gotten some done last night, but I was tired. And was deeply distracted from either a slight sunburn on my face or some kind of skin reaction. It's calmed way down this morning, so it could have just been too much heat yesterday. Could have given myself a windburn from the fans running, because it was a little bit toasty. And it was just a busy day. And it didn't rain very much, I will say that. Let me bring up our... We're supposed to have scattered shower potential throughout the day. So it's going to be just enough to add to the humidity and make it worse. And then it'll rain like a sprinkle and then make it even worse. And it's going to be one of those days. Like, when did Arkansas turn into swampy Florida? Like, what is happening? It's been like Florida humid lately. Whereas in years past it's been hot, but it's been like a dry hot. Not the past couple of weeks. That's for certain. Okay, it's definitely like a wall of green, but I think it kind of works. Excuse me. Ooh, like I said, it's also been pretty bad allergies. So we're going to be getting back into oil painting soon. I'm toying with making another YouTube channel that I keep for just off-stream stuff. I almost made a second one just for art previously, and then I was like, well, no. But I think this time I'm actually gonna do it. I'm not sure what we're gonna call that one. Well, I have an idea. But I don't know yet. I'm probably going to be taking down the Ko-fi page. It's just not getting any traffic. So we've had it for a while and it's just not doing nothing. So I'm probably going to shut that down. I don't know. What is that it? Oh, my fingers are peeling again, so something keeps hitting the opposite finger. I'm like, what is touching me? It would be that. I guess I can do a little bit of a gap there, but is that gonna bug me? Probably. I mean, knowing me, it probably will. Alright. That, or maybe I should just redo the website. I mean, we could redo the website. Okay. So we'll get this popped into there. Okay. Now I'll grab the other bit that I had been shaping, if it'll let go. Separate it. Get the next guy popped into here. So with a bit of luck, we might start the ground around the lake here. Now I might cover the ground back in here with brown first, just to get us a base coat down in case we miss any places with our grasses coming in. Alright, where's that other blobby bit here? It's gonna be super skinny now. Do 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 do. Sorry, I'm listening to something that you guys can't listen to at the moment. For DMCA reasons, I'm not getting my ass in trouble. Sorry. well, okay. These two trees have joined forces, apparently. Okay, so we get those guys popped into there. I think I am gonna add one more right in there, maybe just a small guy. Yeah, so we're gonna be getting back into the oil painting. Or at least we're gonna be trying to. It's been a while since we've oil painted. But I think I've got some brushes that'll work, because we're going to be still going small with it. But we'll see. Haven't had the chance to feel the brushes yet, but it was more about their size. Than anything really. I thought I kept... I think I did. I think I kept the oil paint brushes. I don't think I got rid of them. I might have. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Well, now I have something to hunt for later. I actually need to clean up my canvas holding area. And find a better way to store some of them. What's the matter, Momo? Buddy, it's been 40 minutes. Mr. Momos. It's not even been that long, my guy. Are you sure you have to pee-pee? Are you sure? Alright, well, doggy demands potty, so I guess we're gonna go potty. I will be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. Because someone wasn't going to take no for an answer. Okay. So we're just kind of having a quiet art Sunday here. Working on our trees. And just kind of moving at whatever pace seems to fit. These trees seem to have a slower pace to them. And that's okay. Alright, I was gonna flip that, but I think we're okay. I think it'll be alright. Okay, so again with these guys, I'm kind of doing the tops of them first. So that's why we're sideways. These guys are our front row. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time on these ones. Making sure that we're looking okay here. Okay, now do the trees have to be perfectly straight? They can be a little wobbly. They don't need to be 100% perfectly straight. These trees tend to be a little bit more straighter than some, but it's okay. They can be a little bendy. Just try not to get them completely sideways. That would be a little weird unless it fell over. I mean, if it's a tree that fell over, we will try to keep them somewhat straight. Somewhat. And that's not bad. It's coming along. I like how the green is standing out against our purple. That is looking pretty good there. Alright, we're kind of catching up to our green strip here. So let's go ahead and start to add to that guy. And work on extending them a bit. So that way we've got a little bit more ground to work with. And this just makes sure we don't have any of our base felt color poking through where the ground should be. And it makes it so I don't have to be quite so meticulous with the bottom of the trees. So if you think you can get your trees overlapped enough on the bottom edge where you're not going to have the base color shine through, then you can probably skip this step. I'm not that good. My aim's not that great, so I'm just gonna head off any potential frustrations ahead of time. And I'm just gonna fill that in now. That was very stiff. So that's one thing to take into account. If you're gonna go with the thicker boy felt, up here's gotten quite solid. This guy's gonna have a little bit of weight to him. I mean, we do have quite a few layers of fiber in here as well. So it might have been as stiff as if we were using the slightly thinner felt, but we'll see. I haven't made up my mind yet if I like this thicker stuff yet. That will be determined when we get to the end and we pull our tape off here. This is also helping us tighten up our fiber going across. So I'm thinking for the next section, we're gonna do a brown base around the lake. And that lake, we have that denim blue color, which I tend to like for my water color for the lakes on his stuff. It just seems to fit a little bit better, I think. So then we're gonna do like our little grassy blades and stuff coming up around our lake. So I might end up doing the lake water as we are doing the dirt, just to try to keep our sides even, so that way we're not like pulling and bunching from any specific direction too much. So I'm beginning to wonder if that helps contribute to our off-sidedness when we start to get a little squiggly on the edges. It's possible. Alright, so I think we'll start to put in a few more trees when we get to about here. We'll extend our line over a bit further. I am so glad I picked up this color. It's definitely been a new favorite. Like, the only color I had close to this was like a slate color, and that had a bit of gray tone to it. It was okay, but it just didn't work in a lot of situations, or it would be a little too light. As long as my trees aren't all leaning in one direction, we'll be okay. So I just noticed that. I was like, uh-oh. Do I have them all tilted in the same direction? I hope not. That would be a little bit awkward. Just a little. I was trying to find out when the elephant preserve opens at the Tulsa Zoo, and I'm not finding an exact date. All I'm seeing is later this year. I'm like, that's not helpful. Because I think my mom would like to go see it. Apparently, she seems to like elephants, or so she said the last time we were there. Okay. Get this guy popped into here. These are finger protectors to keep me from stabbing myself too badly. It is still possible to stab into them, but it would keep any potential injury to a minimum, unless you just haul off and stab through it with all your might. I don't do that. Don't even try it. It's not going to end well for you. I have stabbed through them before, and but it sort of slows it down at least, so it's just like a little bit of a pinprick of damage instead of, you know, whole needle through finger. But no, that's not good. Those things hurt. They aren't toys, they are very sharp tools. You want to treat it with the same respect you would a wood burning tool. so we're on the same page here. These are very, very sharp. As they rightly need to be to get through all of the fiber layers. You okay?
Uh-huh.
Are you done?
Mm-hmm.
Did you turn the oven off?
Yep.
Do you know if we're doing game night tonight?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because we didn't end up doing it last week at all.
Yeah, we probably should.
Alright, so I think we're gonna add another one right here. If we add one right here, we can probably skip the one there. Just that's a little too much of a gap, I think. Alright, let me just close this. And we'll put that up so I don't knock it everywhere. Okay. So let's grab another chunk of fluff. So traditionally people use roving. I'm using acrylic yarn. The acrylic yarn takes a little bit more prep, but it is doable. It is very doable. There we go. That filled that gap in pretty good. Alright. So we are getting there today. Well, it's a good thing all of the events around town wrapped up yesterday, because today would have been pretty shitty for it. They got their street dance party in last night, and I'm really glad we went to the morning farmers market instead of the night one, because it looked packed down there, and between the music and all of the people, I would have been crawling out of my skin. Like, you could not get another car down there. I don't even know where all the people parked. And it was so hot by the time 5 o'clock rolled around, or 6 o'clock, whenever they got started. So hot. Or the husband and I are just extra heat sensitive, which might be what it is. more than anything, so. Him and I were not amused yesterday. We're like, it's June. Why? This is ridiculous. Alrighty, get a little bit more fluff and stuff. I think I might add a little guy right in here. See what height I get out of that one. Yeah, okay, that'll work there. So I try to keep the protected fingers as the ones that interact with the fluff when I'm actively stabbing. Sometimes I forget and put the wrong finger in there, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't bend my finger, it's like splinted or it's injured. So I start using the other fingers by accident when I'm not paying attention. Alright, how we doing? Not too bad, not too bad. Alright, sorry I do have us turned sideways. Well, sort of sorry. It's working for me a little bit better at the moment. So at least until we get done our trees. Okay, I might do a slightly taller one here in between these two. I'm thinking, can we pull it off though? That will be the question. And how tall do we want to go? Because we've kept this line of trees pretty short. But we're probably okay with a tall guy here and there. Was that Zuzu that just walked out a minute ago?
I think so. You were on the money, by the way. Peabody is laying on Eileen's bed.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's what's driving you, not in here.
Yeah, they're not happy with him lately, and I think it's because he's been swingy. Because they were both real upset that Peabody was near their bed yesterday. I can't remember if you were out of the room or what, but during the stream they both got real pissy and started whining, and I didn't know what was going on, and then I heard Peabody meow and I saw him jump away from the dog bed. So they've been not the greatest of friends lately. It's kind of strange because they always used to act that way around Gus, because Gus would swing at them. And they were okay with Peabody, and now I don't know if Peabody's mad at them because he's gotten whacked with their tails a few too many times, or he's gotten accidentally pounced on. I don't know what his deal is. But they've been at odds lately. Hasn't quite been at odds reaction that he had to that other dog, but that was funny. I've never actually had a cat go Halloween mode before, even when being introduced to another cat. And Peabody, man, he went fur out, back arched, walking sideways on his tippy toes when your mom brought that other dog. He was probably thinking, oh no, not another one. Alright, so I'm going to add one right in here. Doesn't have to be too robust here. Okay, that's a little tall. Oh, maybe we can fold it under. That's still a little tall. Alright, where's my... Is this section just gonna have some tall boys in it? It might. Let's try not to get them all the same height, but that's probably good enough, I guess. Well, it fills the gap, so the gap was a little too much there for me, personally. Just didn't want that section to be quite so empty. And basically, you're just tapping in until it's as attached as you're looking for. This is the back side. And this is where we're at so far. Not bad. This green's a little bit light reflective. It's a little shiny. Not too bad though. But I am liking this playing off of the other purples back there. All right. So, let's see here. We're starting to catch up to the end of our green line there. They all knows we're catching up to you. To add to that line here in just a minute. We're probably gonna have to turn the other direction just so we're not trying to reach so far away and make it harder on ourselves than it needs to be. Oh gosh, yeah, that one's all sorts of crooked. Okay. Let's see what we can do about that. Can I just get a smaller guy in here? Like, I just want a slightly shorter friend in here. We had a slight gap in there, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have any gaps. If you want there to be some gaps, then let there be some gaps. So that one kind of melted into other tree a bit. I guess that's okay. Should be alright. Tell you, it looks so funny out. It's like the sun wants to be out, there's just a little too much cloud cover. That it is fighting through. Looks like there's another thing of showers. Man, up to our north last night, they were getting all kinds of severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. So if you were involved in that overnight, I hope it wasn't too bad. Just kind of keeping an eye on it, seeing if it was going to come our way. Don't believe that it ever did. Alright, so we're turned the other direction now. And I'm going to start to fill in more of our ground for our trees to sit on top of. Now, again, these are just guidelines that we drew on here. We can make adjustments as we go. It's not a big deal if we go a little over our drawing in any one direction. It's fine. It will be okay. This was really just in place to help me not get carried away. So we weren't doing trees to like down here and be like, oh right, the lake. So sometimes my proportions and scaling can get a little skewed. Pop that guy up. I haven't actually brushed down the back of this in a while. Alright, but we've been mostly following our line here. Mostly. I'm trying to. You know, Fluff does what Fluff wants to do. It's not the most cooperative critter at the best of times here. Okay, so that side's going to be a little bit over our tape line. You okay? Sorry, I thought I heard a noise. Sorry, I heard a bowl clank. I didn't know what it was. That was strange. Alright. So we're making some decent time today. Will we get this tree line specifically in today? Maybe, because we're here. And it's 10 of 2 my time. We might. Alright, so. You alright?
Yeah, he was being a little better.
Okay, so we'll get this popped into here. Okay. Just a little bit more tapping there. And then just have a little spot here. That we will fill in. And technically our tree bottoms would probably take care of that, but there's no real harm in being thorough ahead of time so that we don't have any weird patching going on top of our trees. If we can help it. Okay. That's probably fairly good. That cat is obsessed with my blanket. I don't know why he's obsessed with it, but he is. I have a fuzzy blanket that I got to travel with. Because sometimes I don't like the texture of hotel bedding. Sometimes it's too much. Too heavy, too scratchy, whatever. Sometimes it's just too much. So I have a travel blanket. And this cat is obsessed with it. It's not even as fuzzy as it was before we went away the last time. Alright, so let's work on some more trees here. It's a good thing we've got a lot of this color left, because I am greatly enjoying it. It is a nice foliage color. It kind of is reminiscent of our foliage green paint, actually. It's pretty close to it. I'd say it's closer to our foliage green paint than an actual olive color. I feel like olive color might be a little more brown. But I do like this color regardless. Okay, pop that guy up. He didn't seem too attached off of that one, so it says we're not going all the way through into the mat to me. What was that? Give me 1 second, you guys, because that sounded like it came from outside. Alright, sorry about that. It sounded like something had fallen. It sounded like something heavy that had fallen. So, had to go and check, make sure that my mom hadn't fallen or anything. But she's taking a nap. So I don't know what that was. Aside from strange, I didn't notice anything next door. And nothing really seemed out of place. Very odd. Might have to go this way for a little bit. And that's okay. We can do it this way. We did the other ones this way. Alright, so grab that other half of this piece that we were originally using as one section. Tell you what, there's like a thin spot there. So let's grab that section. Well, those guys look like they are the same tree. Wasn't exactly what I was going for, but okay. Sure. Alright, so let's get our next tree put in here. 'Cause why the heck not? Alright, this guy I'm gonna try to be a little bit taller with here. We're gonna try at least. Like, it doesn't need to be a sharp point at the top. In fact, it's probably a little bit better if that top edge is a little bit ragged. If you hear the husband snoring, it's because he fell asleep. It was a tough night last night, so that's just the way life goes. Kind of want another tree in there, even if it's just a little guy. I was trying to see if that was a big enough gap that I could cope with, but I don't know, man. Doesn't quite feel right leaving that particular spot open. It kind of looks like it's just part of the other tree now. I guess that's okay. It happens. And I guess the big thing is that the gap's not as wide as it, or as low as it had been, so I guess that's alright. Okay, I'm gonna rotate my mat here. So our masking tape's holding up fairly well. I do feel like our fluff, our felt, bowed out a little bit in that section. It's gonna happen. It doesn't seem to be anything that I have figured out the trick to keep from happening. So we're just gonna have to either accept it or give up and move on to something else. I think I'd rather just accept it instead of giving up, because I like doing this. So we are just gonna accept the fact that our edges aren't gonna be 100% straight. It happens. Still not sure if I'm gonna have a commission to do or not. I would have liked to have known last night, because we had to run to one of the art stores to pick up a couple things we couldn't get online. Well, I could have gotten them online, but they were a little more expensive than I wanted to pay, not knowing if they were gonna work kind of situation, and without being able to see if they would serve my purpose, because I needed small brushes for the oil paint stuff, since we're working on small items, and I was having trouble telling how big the brushes actually were on the one website. Oh, if you need art supplies, not sponsored whatsoever, but we were on Jerry's Artorama last night. They were having a pretty decent sale on a bunch of stuff. So again, not sponsored, but if you need some stuff, they might be worth checking out. And they also have a YouTube channel where they will have different I guess in-house artists test out products and show you what you can do with them. And they live stream some of that. So they're an interesting channel to check out. Sounds like it's really raining now. It's just a little shower. Oh. That one's trying to become a thunderstorm, I think. And it's always good to take a minute and sit back and look at what you've done so far. So that way, you're not completely tunnel visioned. So don't forget to take a minute, take a breath, look up around at things, even if, go to the bathroom, get a snack, get a drink, and come back and take a look before you start proceeding, so that way you can get a feel for what you've done, and that way you have time to adjust something before it gets too far away from you. And that goes with anything you're working on, really. Sometimes just that 5 minutes of walking away and looking at something else can help. Or if you're really stuck, leave it for a couple hours and come back, or leave it overnight. This stuff doesn't dry out. It's fluff. It's fine. You're not on a time limit with this. acrylic paint, if you really hate it, you can always paint over it. And oil paint, you generally have a little bit of work time with it. Generally. Sounds like a cat on the husband's chair. Shouldn't be the husband. Pretty sure husband is still taking a nap. Alright. So our tree line coming in here isn't doing too bad. And you can kind of feel or see how the green is pushing the purple back further. So that's helpful. And again, you're just kind of tapping in, stabbing your fluff until it's attached to your liking, really, and for all of this. Alright, we need a bit more fluff and stuff. Excuse me. Whew, we need to not be sneezing. Oh my goodness. Not a fan of the sneezes. If it's just one sneeze, then okay. But a lot of the time, it's not just one sneeze with me. Alright, so I'm going to try to make this guy a little bit shorter. Will it work? I don't know. We'll see. Kinda worked. Kinda. Alright. And we have a bit of purple trying to sneak on through that tree. I think I might patch that. It's a little more purple than I'm necessarily okay with in that particular spot. No, that didn't do much. I don't know why it didn't do much, but because of how I placed it in there. see about getting that one fluffed out. I mean, some trees are going to be a little bit thinner than others. That happens, right? But it was a little too thin for my liking. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Alright, so yeah, it's gonna be one of those days where the showers just keep forming over top of us. So it was just enough to not be able to get anything done outside that we need to get done. That one's a little more robust than I think I was looking for, but we'll see how it goes. Make sure I'm actually in frame. So hope everybody had a good weekend. I don't know if we're going to be live streaming the oil painting. I might be doing that off stream. And just recording that. More than likely. Okay. Next bit of fluff and stuff. That popped into there. So if I end up starting the second channel, I will let you guys know. You just get a look at it from a slightly closer angle. Okay, I do want to fill in a tiny bit on this one. That one just seems a little too skinny. For what I'm looking for. One of the wonders of fluff. So. I actually have to get more dowel rods. Can't forget I need to price check them. Okay, that's not so bad there. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Okay. Wow, high UV warning. Not really like a warning, but put your sunblock on even if it's cloudy. If you're gonna be outside for very long. More loud cars, sorry about that. We live on the main road through our town, and traffic's a thing. Loud cars are gonna happen. Our house is not very soundproof, so we're just kind of coping with it for now. That's all we really can do at this point in time. So, yeah, we're not doing too bad here. I'm liking how this is coming in. I've got our purples hung back up on the wall and out of the way, so they're not falling all over the floor. Because my bucket of colors for this project was overflowing. This was one of the more colorful ones we've done. Okay. So, oh, that's a bit of a split there. I mean, not really a split, I guess. A slight gap in between those two trees. I think I might try to add a skinny guy right in there. Doesn't really need to be too big. Like that should do. Like that should more than do. We're getting there. We're definitely getting there. Again, sort of sorry for the sideways view for today, but it's making this a little bit easier. For me to see what I've got going on here. Okay. So we've got a little bit more thicker fluff to work through down here. So we're just going to take our time and get through that section. These guys are a little bit more raised up than the rest of us here. So we'll see how these next few trees go in. But I'm pretty happy with how we're looking so far. Probably gonna need to get a little bit more fluff pulled out, and that's okay. We have a whole Ziploc bag still. Okay. Sorry, just doing a quick weather check, making sure we're still okay. And we seem to be. I don't think they were expecting severe weather for us today. So that's nice. We did have some thunderstorms yesterday morning. I actually wasn't sure if they were going to be doing farmers market yesterday morning, because right at setup time was when the storms were rolling in. Okay, we're almost done this tree line. And I think we'll be able to completely get this tackled in this session. And maybe get started on our dirt here for around our lake. That might be possible. We seem to actually be making decent time here today. Now these trees didn't come all the way across in Bob's, as you can see in the tutorial there in the bottom corner. He left a blank space towards this end, and probably because he was gonna have that other big tree kind of coming in down in here, but I'm okay with doing it this way just because I wasn't sure where those other trees were going to get placed, and I didn't want to have it look awkward behind this if I didn't get it fully filled in with whatever was going to be in front of it. I just felt better bringing them all the way across for what we're doing here. Alright, so we got that. Ow. That's my elbow desk. Desk, meet elbow. Elbow, meet desk. Ow, again. Stop it. Okay. My goodness. Alright, let's see here. You dropped into about here. And we're looking pretty darn good. At least so far. Oh, that's gonna be a little bit of a gap. I might do a taller one. Yeah. I think we will. Okay. So let's get a little bit more floof. Floofy stoof. So it seems to be partly cloudy with light rain right now. Go figure. Just trying to get all of the little flyaway guys tucked in here. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I covered up a tree entirely there. Or at least most of a tree. Didn't mean to quite do that, but I didn't like how that gap set up between those two, so if you don't like it, you can just add some more fluff on top of it, or you can rip it out if you need to. You're gonna have to do a little bit more fixing to it if you get too far tucked in and you decide to rip it out. Do keep that in mind. And I can't say if your fluff would still be workable to the extent that you want it to be. It's not going to be like brand new. If you've started to felt it and then rip it out, it'll still have a bit of that worked texture to it. So if it's your like last bit of that color, you might want to be sure that this is what you want to do. Okay. At least it's not as hot in this house today as it was yesterday. Sorry, I leaned back in my chair a little bit so you couldn't fully see what I was doing there. Apologies. But a good number of these pieces from the series ended up with new homes. Okay. So probably one more tree here. Maybe two. Maybe two. We'll see how this looks after we get this guy popped into here. Yeah, maybe two more. Let's see what we got here. Could be three. Depends on how these guys go in here. Really. See how we do. Tape might be helping a little bit. It would probably be helping more if I got the tape on straight. Which I know I didn't quite do. I've given myself the tiniest of bleed over buffers. I mean, the fluff doesn't bleed, but run over so I could get the edge dealt with here. Maybe we don't need one more. Let's see what we've got here. That's not bad. Very stiff though. Alright, so I think that's probably fairly good there. Alright, so I don't necessarily know if we're done with this color. We might be. Okay. So now we need to find our next color here. It's in here somewhere. There it is. We found it. You alright? Okay. Alrighty, now we've got our dirt for around our lake here. So again, I'm going to be sideways here for just a little bit. Get this popped into place. So this is the color Coffee Bean from Paintbox Simply Chunky. Not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, but hey, if you wanna. I'd be willing to discuss. We gotta put our grass in some kind of dirt, right? So that is what we're gonna start to work on. So I don't know how many sessions this one's gonna fully take. Some of them can take a little bit longer than others to get worked through. As we have more than demonstrated, it also depends on how much time I have for each session. And that can vary depending on the day, really. No idea where that speck of glitter came from. That is quite annoying. Just sitting there. Is it glitter? Oh no, it's not glitter. It's water. Wow, that was very shiny. That was some shiny water. Alright. So we're gonna have some grass coming in on top of our dirt. But I do want to try to get this area where it meets our tree line. As filled in as we can. I mean, the grass will cover a good part of it. So it'll be some taller grass. But I do want to make sure that if any area does poke through or shine through, that it's the brown of our dirt than the gray of our background felt. Okay. So this is all going to be dirt down here too. Now we haven't quite moved the tutorial that forward yet. I mean, we probably should, but I don't know if he did dirt in this section, but we are. Or I am. Just to make this a little bit easier. For when our grass comes in. Since we just can't magic everything together. See how long it takes us to get our dirt filled in here. It's not that much ground to cover. Like, not really. It's a little bit, don't get me wrong. Tape is getting a little bunchy. That's interesting. I think that goes to show how we are like tightening and moving around the base felt as we go. Okay, so let's get this popped into here. Okay. And even our dirt is already pushing our trees back a little bit. So we are definitely getting somewhere. For sure. Just trying to make sure that I am not destroying the size of our lake too much. I did give myself a bit of a guideline here for the shape for what we've got visible. Okay, we'll turn this guy sideways again just a little bit. Just to help me be able to see a little bit easier what all we've got going on. I think we're doing okay. So we are getting a little bunched up in here, but that's all right. That's kind of to be expected with where we're at so far. Okay. I'm gonna overlap a little bit here on that last section of brown that went in. Okay. I think this next pass around, this next round of brown we're going to put in here, we're going to flip, well not flip, but we'll rotate our mats. I think it's about time we did a mat rotation. Crunch, 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 crunch. Okay, I would Normally like to see that a little more tapped in, but we've got some more coming in on top of it, so we're doing pretty good here today. We got the entirety of our green line trees in. I just want to fill this in a little bit closer to the edge of my water here. Get that straightened up. Okay. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna start the water next or if I'm gonna bring the dirt down a little bit further. Oh, I mean the water would be after the brown, but I was thinking about doing it while we're working on the dirt. I just haven't fully decided yet. Probably won't get to the water today. Probably not. Because body's getting a little angry from how I've been sitting here today. And we've been going for almost 3 hours today. We did start a little early. Technically, we're still supposed to go another hour. But the back is barking. So we might finish up this piece and call it early today. Because, I mean, we've gotten a fair bit done today. Hands down for certain. So yeah, I think we will stop a little early today. I hate to do it, but the body is screaming uncle, so I think we're gonna take a pause and listen to that. We'll be back tomorrow working on this guy. Okay, so yeah, we are a little bowed out on this side. You can see it on the back now. Always happens. But we might be able to clean that up just a little bit. I do think the tape is helping a little. I do wish I had gotten this a little bit further over. I got closer on this side. It is what it is. But we got our dirt started for around our lake. We got the green tree line in. So tomorrow we'll pick back up with the dirt and work on getting the lake put in. So I think the lake should probably be in before we start doing the grass, just to keep this from getting a little too bunchy in here. So I think that's our plan for tomorrow. I thank you guys for popping in and checking things out this afternoon. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time.